them. They don't want to necessarily surrender the Sivir, but is Sivir a banned champion yet? The answer seems to probably be no. We'll see if the drafting style on the red side for Rox Tigers changes. They've been razor-focused on banning Temp's champion pool, Azir, Ryze, and Zoe, with the 3 bans in game 1, and they're going to take a little time to adjust. Maybe they're going to play around and leave the Zoe open. I'd love to see some Tempt Zoe, but we just seeing it, even when it's been banned, the games where it's been left open, it hasn't been that common a pick, because that's a surprising ban here. Lava has had quite a few games in a row where he's been a non-factor. He was decent on the Corki, but the safety of the Corki seems to be something they don't want to allow Lava to pick up. Maybe try and force him onto an Orianna out of meta or something like that. They feel like they can exploit. And there is going to be a second mid lane ban, but it's a different one. So Ryze is very conspicuously available at first pick. So is Ezreal. It's a potential trade of power available in the first round of the draft.
I think if I were BBQ, I would go for the Ryze. There's so much power on that Tempt. You can allow Ghost to go for something else, but instead, they're thinking about a Zac first pick. It makes sense with the Corki ban, but now you're giving both Ezreal and Ryze away.
It's a really big reach for the Zac. To me, that says that both Ghost doesn't prioritize Ezreal and Tempt doesn't prioritize Ryze, which almost for future opponents, you look at this and you're like, interesting. Because now you can play a bit more fast and loose with your bans. So this reveals a lot about BBQ's tendencies. It's very surprising to me. Gonna look on the Rox Tigers side, and even with Gnar available, very early lock in on the Ornn. Should be noted that Key has already played it in the support role, so it is a flex pick for the side of Rox Tigers.
Yeah, definitely a good pick for them there. Haven't seen it just yet. And as you mentioned, there still are some counters left available, but surprisingly this time around they want to go for it. And now they're going to pick up Vladimir. So another flex pick, I suppose.
Could
for
be
the
a
side
mid-lane Vladimir here. Very interesting to see this prize. I know Kuzan's been, predictably, it's Kuzan, been practicing Vladimir in solo queue. Vladimir also kind of is happy to see someone like a Varus, because it's someone they can potentially flank, even if Linderong had an exercise in frustration about that. So the draft has been a bit peculiar so far from both BBQ in their first pick, but also Rox Tigers' red side draft. You just take Gnar and have the trifecta of champions on the red side that can top lane, but probably aren't all going to be top laning. Waiting to see. Very early Galio, so we're going in hard, boys. We're definitely initiating here.
Yeah, definitely, Papa. We got Galio in mid lane, Vlad top, and then the support, Ornn.
So with Malzahar off, what do you lane against Galio? It feels like we're kind of like furiously going through our 2017 notes. The one that didn't work in Korea was Crown trying the mid lane Fiora. That was a failure.
I was about to mention it, but yeah, not going to be a Gnar mid either, Papa.
So far, it's pretty obviously going to be Vlad top and a support Ornn.
Yeah.
What will Crazy want to do in this scenario? It's kind of intriguing where the solo lanes will go for the side of BBQ.
Sivir's gone. Fans of 60-minute games all cry out in terror.
Actually a really good ban, because you look at 3 hunking tanks that want to dash in there, and movement speed would be lovely for them. Would also be just the most wave clear you could ever talk about in the history of League of Legends, so smart ban away. Ryze very late ban. Ryze, basically everything gets a free lane against Galio, so it's another champion that could build. If you take an Abyssal Mast champion here, you're getting so much value that they just don't want that to be a consideration. Sangyu now has his choice. Not traditionally an Ezreal player, but looks like they're just going to look past the Ezreal. Fans like to see him, considering the Xayah was a big pick for him in summer when Kalista was down.
Yeah, and when Galio was in too, right? Gets in front of you so you can lay down your feathers and really just add even more CC to the pile.
Also kind of counterintuitive, but you can ult and also have Galio ult on top of you while you're uninterruptible to try to turn an engagement. So does end up being the Xayah, as we're wondering what we're going to see from Tempt, and this would certainly be no surprise, if not for being a bit out of meta. He is well known for his Taliyah play, got a pentakill on Taliyah in spring season of last year, and he locks it in anyway. So very interesting to see Taliyah suggests BBQ want to play a proactive draft in the mid lane, in the early to mid game, even with a Zac draft. So I'll just see if Trick can avoid the level 1 pitfall of blowing flash and actually be proactive. I think it's a lot to ask for a Zac in the early game. And now, what do you lane against Vladimir if you're crazy? Gnar is taken away. That would have been a winning lane matchup. The Cho'Gath is a European special, so it's been a really big pick in EU LCS. You can win lane pretty hard. You can rush Abyssal Mass, and in this game, you feel like you're countering the entire team, short of the Xayah. Songwon's famous jungler, if you had to ask me, was Elise, but it'd be an insane amount of magic damage, so I think Jarvan is the way to go.
Yeah, I mean, the Kha'Zix was still available if you wanted to go for, like, the Kha'Zix Galio, but Jarvan Galio, even better. You can really close the distance and get into that backline to make the Galio work this time around in a way that it did not work in game number 1.
I'm going to be honest, actually, about this. I actually like what Rox Tigers.
Here we go, match 10, game 3. BBQ looking for their second win. See what they can do. They defeated Kongdu Monster before, looking to go up the ladder, defeat Rox Tigers.
Today, 10 matches done, 80 to go. 90 matches in the regular season.
Already 1/9 of the way through, Papa. It's been a tiring 10 matches for you, but you've made it through. How are you feeling?
I get reinvigorated. Good League of Legends is something I really enjoy. It's one of those things where it is a true pleasure to be involved in the cast. And sure, the 6 days in a row this week is going to be a challenge. Yeah. Maybe ask me again on
with
Friday.
Your birthday
and
in
then
between.
Ask me again on Sunday. Yes, the birthday boy 4th match day on Friday is going to be a fun one.
Yeah.
Even though we've had our share of slow games, I'm happy that today we've had some teams who actually have been able to play very proactive in the early game. We've had a couple of games that have turned the meta on its head, but then you look on the side of Rox Tigers and you see 5 stopwatches and you start wondering. 7 stopwatch games.
5 stopwatches across the board.
Successful ganks post 6 are going to be painful, and Rox Tigers get to keep going. Again, to me, BBQ's draft, when you really compare it to the enemy, kind of has to be win lane, win game. They have the tools to do that, but win lane, win game in LCK, that's not usually a winning strategy.
Doesn't really happen unless you're Khan playing Jace, but outside of that, doesn't really happen. BBQ not necessarily known for popping off with one of their solo laners just getting super far ahead as well. So see what they can do. Ignar coming in for a ward will spot someone at the Gromp.
Wants to steal it with a Q. Someone body blocking.
It's a bit of extra damage. Can deny that blasting plant as well.
Something I don't see enough people do in solo queue is just taking out the blasting plant, especially if you're a ranged support. You just hop over a ward, take out the blasting plant, and your life is so much safer. It's the standard ganking route. If you're on red side as a jungler.
Arcane Comet on a Cho'Gath. Kind of interesting, adds some extra poke on in there. You guys don't really get to see Cho'Gath too often, but did go into sorcery. Curious to see if he got his ultimate hat. I would have to assume he did.
Seems like a pretty heavy investment into sorcery, though. I would have thought it would be Unsealed Spellbook, but wanted to go into the Resolve tree as well. So in the end, not going to be the Unsealed Spellbook. Ghost in late game team fights obviously unlikely, given that you often have to take teleport, but I guess Righteous Glory will have to do. But Comet gives more laning, and if you're able to hold down Vladimir in laning phase, that's what you have drafted the Cho'Gath for, I guess you have to say.
Trick isn't failing the power farming this time around with the blue and the Gromp.
It's not taking them both at the same time, so maybe he's just admitted defeat.
Yeah. Someone getting pretty deep in there. Oh, he's just walking through. Okay. Gonna lay down a ward at the blue.
He's got the bad news. If it was a full power farm from Trick, would have been caught there is actually going to be Trick finding his opponent.
They're going to go for this. Oh, nice dodge there by Sungwon. A little bit of a stutter step back. gets him into safety. If he got hit by that, that's the knock-up by Talia, and you're looking at a flash
Wrong
early.
way on the Unbreakable there from Ignar, but doesn't have to flash.
Yeah.
Awkward. Bad look there.
Definitely Observer catching it just in time to his embarrassment. They're looking for a stun now onto Key, just trading some damage back. You notice Songyun is very low on mana.
They don't have deep vision, and Ghost was tanking the minion line, so didn't take a fantastic trade there.
Ignar not scared of anything. He's got a pretty big shield.
We are still on patch 8.1, so there is still the ability to override CC with the Bellows Breath, the W from the Ornn, and in the ultra late game, we do also have the Ornn upgradable items, which mean that in those late game fights, despite having Galio, they will be able to just get access to more item slots with that kind of pseudo 7th item or upgraded item. So it's kind of a happy thing to bring from support. So just kind of AoE initiation in the tank support meta where you're probably facing what? Taric or Alistair or Braum or Tahm Kench. It's not like Ornn's going to have a tough time laning, so very decent choice.
Yeah. Will we ever see a team take advantage of that in the bottom lane? I suppose it's the hyper carries are too good, really, to allow that to happen.
I think we might see, if a team picks up Ezreal, considering going for range support, something like Ezreal Brand could be done against, you know, let's say Sivir Tahm Kench or something like that. I think that would definitely be a scenario. The Sivir would still get extra back, so the Sivir would probably opt into taking a lot of the harass.
The Sivir would take Teleport and Relic Shield and never die anyway, so we wouldn't see it ever again.
I do think we'll see MVP, because MVP's been the one team that's like, you know, screw this like hyper carry meta.
Yeah.
We're going to take in lots of Nidalee games. We're going to try and take very proactive early game trades and almost to the win, at least in one of the games, over KT. So I think there is the outside chance we see something like a Brand that got a really big buff on patch 8.1, but is there a guarantee? Absolutely not. You know, the safety is in tank support, and then either a Rage Blade carry or a traditional hyper carry is just the meta at the moment.
You see it a bit in solo queue, but as you mentioned, there's a huge gap in the way that solo queue is played and pro play is played nowadays.
We mentioned it in Series 1. We talked about answering the question, why do games extend at the pro meta, the things we outlined. I even left one out in hindsight. You know, we talked about zombie wards. We talked about the overheal meta and all the extra healing about the stopwatches. But, you know, at the end of the day, another reason that the pro meta is kind of incomparable at the moment right now is you don't get to take red smite or blue smite. You're taking tracker's knives. There's more vision on the map than there is in solo queue as well. Yeah. You know, people were really seriously wondering, hey, like, every jungler, pro or not, was going red smite and doing damage in the preseason. What will it mean for the competitive meta? You need the vision at the highest level, and lack of that red smite does pull away the Shyvana a little bit, and also does mean even more safety for these games to extend.
Yeah. Well, tons of vision, tons of survivability will do it, and free little blue buff handed over to Tempt, as they had massive vision in the blue side of Rox's jungle. You can see a control ward there, 2 other wards down, and a pushing bot lane allow them to get that in.
Nice hit on the EQ there from Key. If you delay the Q, then you can E to it, and it's a kind of a Malphite-like, or I guess Alistair-like knock-up effect. Get to see those runes. Pretty traditional runes here, Conditioning, Demolish, and the, I believe Second Wind is the name, the regen rune on the Resolve tree, and then Stopwatch and Boots. Pretty much the generic tank support rune page, if you're not going for Guardian. Or it is Guardian anyway.
Yeah. Would have liked to see someone else's runes, but hold that thought. We do have Featherstorm coming on out, and a flash onto Tempt, who uses his flash earlier on to get out of that Jarvan ult, but it's way too much. Sungwon now is going to pick up the first blood. Galio trying to jump away, and he will get out of tower range. Trick, unfortunately, not able to kill anyone by himself. He's still on the chase. Here comes Braum, but he's a little bit too far away. So just the first blood going over to the Rox Tigers.
But just a preview of where this game will go. Those are the 3 members who will dive in and try to pick up those kills on both the Talia and the Varus. That's why the Talia draft was surprising. We said, okay, attempt to win lane, win game, but the win lane, win game got them a blue buff steal. And now just an answering kill from Rox. Nice roam coming through from Linderang. So big advantage there for the Rox Tigers, and it only gets better for them. We're going to see the earlier parts of this. It was just a rundown by Vladimir. The two of them together here after the flash, it wouldn't have been enough, but you see the question mark ping on the top side. Trick sees Linderon coming in. He absorbs both of the ghosts, so the slow is not there, but flash, ultimate, E, it's enough damage here. They're going to overkill by a lot. The Talia, and we're all tanky boys, we're all beefy big boys. We're all able to jump out with our ultimates.
Boys.
Yep, that's what they are.
Yeah.
What else is Galio
really
if not
are.
a big boy?
But I feel like it was also Temps getting a little bit far forward, right? I mean, you still had Galio with flash taunt, and even though you had stopwatch, right? Even if Linderon is not there, you're putting yourself in danger even just getting in range of the flash.
You don't often get drive-by'd by a Vladimir in pro level, so I think that was the big surprise there. But I take your point. Could have been extra safety. Playing at the highest level is always about skirting the edge, trying to take the biggest risk without actually having a significant chance of dying. In that case, he got his calculation wrong, and because of the draft, does he have the latitude to do that? That's where your kind of criticism might be valid, because I see worrying things as the game goes on for BBQ unless the moment Rageblade is done, they play 2 team fights and snowball the game away, perfectly. It could happen, but definitely no reliability on that for BBQ.
Yeah, the pushing has continued down in the bottom lane. That's another one where Ghost just non-stop pushes on in. They've been pretty aggressive down there with their stuns and all that good stuff. Lots of warding, and Zach being near the mid lane, just stay near Tempt and make sure he doesn't die to Galio and Songwan.
Whoa, this is a weird item choice. Proto Belt actually coming out. Is nice gank buff from Songwan.
Oh, right in the back. Crazy. He's incredibly tanky, but you've got 2 members you're going against. They got to be careful not to go too far, but that's going to be enough. The flash was a little bit too late right after the Cataclysm from the Jarvan, and Crazy will get 1v2.
Yeah, seemed surprised by the damage from Songwan. So Warrior in chat Jarvan, so going to probably be going for Black Cleaver into Guardian Angel with the stopwatch here. So going for the DPS build. That's because he's just ulting vaguely in the direction of the 2 carries. The AoE damage is guaranteed if they're inside the Cataclysm walls. And the game plan from Rox is straightforward, but so far it's been damn effective.
Yeah, they weren't scared to show their hand, as you were saying. Just pick all the engaged tanky guys and just get in there. So first blood given over to Songwan. He's sitting at 2-0-0.
Does mean the DPS build comes earlier. When you come online from the jungle with Warrior Enchant, the Black Cleaver, and also the Guardian Angel pre-30 minutes, you're a monster. And it's the sort of thing that
Feels
can
so
happen
good
in these snowboard games. It does feel great. You are super powerful, assuming the rest of your team is doing well, which if you have that many kills as jungler, your laner's probably doing well as well. Can mean a lot, whereas Trick is on much more the non-factor when it comes to damage threat from the jungle on the Zac.
Yeah. He's been power farming up. He's at 80 CS so far, but never really had an option to go for a gank anywhere. They didn't look for anything bottom side. Mid lane is that Galio. Once again, they don't have Tom Kents to roam up with the Abyssal Voyage like they did in Game 1 to help out with the gank in the mid lane. They also don't have the lockdown from the Malzahar, which makes it even harder.
So there's 2 tools we have to look for in team fights if we do get fairly close gold team fights, which seems likely. You can see there's still a gold lead for BBQ despite being down 2-0 in kills. 2 kind of very important abilities we have to talk about. Brom's ability to interrupt the Ornn ultimate will be powerful. Doesn't mean he's not going to be in position to block further ultimates, but Brom and his ability to unbreakable the Ornn ultimates, an interaction that we will be talking about a lot this year, given the Ornn will be picked a lot. But also Cho'Gath just getting tanky enough to silence one-shot Songyun. If Songyun is dead at the start of a fight, there's a chance you can turn around. A couple of Locket Shields, Ghost and Tempt live, Songyun's one-shot, which we saw happen in EULCS multiple times. Then there is that potential for victory for BBQ, but sort of stuff we don't see in Korea. It's our first Cho'Gath of the season. See how it goes here.
Yeah, champions that have the ability to just like one-click you definitely will show their face from time to time, even in places such as Korea that tend to, move away from gimmicky stuff like that. But So far, it's shown that it has a good presence up in the top lane, right? It's doing very well against the Vladimir, who has no kill pressure, has more CS. Hold that thought. We are going to go for a bit of an engage.
Nice.
Does get blocked by the Braum, but they're still going in for the flash and the knock-up. There's the Jarvan for the follow-up. A Trick going for the counter-engage, but here comes Galio. Ignar is super low. Can they actually get the taunt? It's going to miss just barely. Kidnap coming in, so I'm getting low, but he is going to live with the heal. But here comes Tempt. Not really able to follow up, but successfully gets out of there. Only Ignar goes down in the trade.
Bit of a misread there, I think, from Trick, who took a long time to jump in. Galio was always going to rotate first, even with the speed of the Weaver's Wall available for Tempt, and Tempt wasn't going to go in aggressively to try to clean up kills. So Ignar goes down. It's still another trade up for the Rocks Tigers. We wanted to see win lane, win game from BBQ. We have not.
Okay, we're going to have another engage here from Trick. I feel like he's basically just helping Ghost stay in this lane at this point.
He just wants to get a preferential back timing for him to push up. Ghost had the rage bait. You saw a fight where he was able to free hit, maybe being a win for BBQ, but Ignar going down, Trick being there late, so not actually being able to disrupt and kind of keep his carry alive. We're going to watch the replay. So things start here. The Owen Ultimate is blocked, and you think, all right, Trick is in position. They'll be able to turn this around. Trick's watching for a long time. He might have his E on cooldown. We're not 100% sure at this juncture, but he doesn't show, and by the time he comes in, so does the Galio. No way for Ignar to live. He lives a long time on the outsides, but eventually is taken down by the Q from Lava. Tempt is full health, but all he can contribute is the Weaver's Wall. 4 members better than 3, and another kill to Rocks Tigers. Proto Belt Galio. It's a new one.
Haunting guys as well. He is not going tanky.
And it's the same player.
He's going all in.
It's the same player as well. You know, we mentioned that Galios often go more offensive. I see Rod of Ages all the time. The Proto Belt has some sense, absolutely. But it's just something different. Haunting guys. It's a lot of poke. And onto the likes of Crazy and Trick will be decent percentage health damage if it is going to be the very early Leandris. Getting early AP damage is smart for a Galio. You do a lot of base damage, and you already have Ornn and also Jarvan Vlad as kind of off tanks and initiators that you can be a bit more frisky with your item build and not have to just soak damage the entire time in a team fight.
It's definitely a big part of it. After the engage, you need to secure kills, and you just need to make sure that can happen. So adding that extra bit of AP in is going to be very nice. We are going to see the Mountain Drake picked up by BBQ. So they do have that to help them out, as well as the Cho'Gath to help out with the epic monsters, quickly taking them out.
Topside control not there for BBQ, but okay, Ornn.
Okay, well, they do have that flash, but the Ornn ultimate from downtown was a little bit too far away.
Getting 2 summoners from Tempt means he will no longer be able to overextend to wave clear, so it's definitely a decent trade from the side of Rocks Tigers. Flash for flash when it comes to Lava and Tempt.
So far, Tempt, getting caught out by that once again. He survives, but kind of getting out of position there. But here comes Ghost. He doesn't know this is happening. He was actually backing. He's trying to take down Seongwon, but no hope, buddy. You're 1v3, and that's going to be the end of your life.
Yeah, it's no jungle control at all for Ghost, who's no longer a rookie player, but an entire year for BBQ last year as a starter. So need to be a bit more on the ball there, just kind of a brain fade like Ruler used to have in his early days. Taken out. Nothing else happening on the map. His team wasn't getting a lead anywhere. Not a great look from the side of Ghost.
Yeah, not so great, but they're going to go for this Rift Herald right away, perhaps trying to capitalize on Crazy pushing Linderong out of lane. Also, after that gank, I believe a bunch of those guys had to walk all the way up. Also does have a control ward down here, so it's only going to be spotted now. Going to try to commit for the smite. They're going to knock him up, but it will go over to Trick. Even so, no steal.
They haven't picked it up yet, though. Zach was on it for a moment. We might just see a guarding of the Rift Herald buff.
Yeah.
Seems very likely, so while they're able to claim the goal, that's certainly not what you do the objective for. It lasts a really, really long time. I think it's around a minute. Might be 45 seconds, but it's longer than you'd think.
They're taking out everything here. All the wards, all the plants.
Ignar's like, I can get this.
He's gonna get it. They left it there. They didn't block it. And Ignar just swoops on in and takes it away.
It is a long time. I mean, you think about it, you're like, okay, but like denying is so strong, but being somewhere for a minute in competitive play at 19 minutes means that all your other waves are in disarray. We see that Tempt was already bot lane, so in the end, Rox thinks better of it, hopes no one is around. Ignar swoops in and actually justifies the action around the Rift Herald.
Oh, crazy. Forcing the flash after using the Righteous Glory, really just threatening that one-punch combo onto Linderong. So a flash is gone that will hurt his engage.
One Punch Man Cho'Gath.
Yep.
There's a skin idea. Free one for you guys at Riot Games.
I mean, he's got 2 massive arms, but don't let that stop you. I like the idea.
Righteous Glory, the very standard second pick. It's like a pseudo ghost rushing in and getting the feast onto Sangyun is going to be his gameplay pattern.
Now that the flash is down, it's really hard for Linderong to just stay in lane against that.
Oh, interrupt on the Rift. No, just out of time. If you can knock up the Braum during the cast animation, which is long, cancels out that Rift Herald. Not able to do that. Will be first turret there. That was really close between Key and Ignar.
That means that 3 tier 1 turrets are down here for BBQ. It really makes up the majority of their gold lead at this point, even though they're down 0-4.
Farm as well.
Yeah, they really kept up in every other facet.
Win lane, win game. 20 minutes having 3 turrets down. That's definitely on par. CS lane, that's on par. 4 kills or not, might be more than 4.
Diving a turret against Ghost is possible with your composition, but maybe a little bit too far that time around.
Weirdly, someone has halted his build. You understand the Merc treads, absolutely, but kind of weird to go Warrior Enchant into what is looking like it's going to be just more magic resist. The Adaptive Helm is the likely purchase, is a bit peculiar to me. I liked the idea of Galio and Jarvan basically trying to one-shot between the two, and then Vladimir or Xayah mopping up, but obviously feels the pinch of some of the magic damage from BBQ and goes for the Adaptive Helm second. I think at that point you just go Cinderhulk and get a bit of multiplicative scaling. That's a lot of Cho'Gath damage.
It is. He's basically just been raining down spikes on the Vladimir up in top lane for the majority of this. They're going in into Sungwon. See what they can do. The Elastic Strike isn't going to get in on there, but they have Tempt in the back doing a ton of damage. Galio trying to save this life. Teleport coming from behind. Linderong with another flank. That's really been the name of the game for him. He's going to hit 3 members with that ultimate. Here comes the Ornn. It's going to knock up Ghost, and that's going to be enough to take him out and route the rest of BBQ away from that fight.
And no ability to interrupt that ult that time from Ignar. Crazy was there first, but Linderong just had to wait for the Weaver's wall to go down. Turned around, got the ult in the backline, smartly done there by the Rox Tigers. You have to ward all your flanks. They hadn't dotted all their I's or crossed all their T's for BBQ. But the death doesn't mean much, because what did we say before? All the lanes have been pushing. All the control has been there for Rox. So it kind of needs to be 2 picks to actually advance their map position any further than they already are.
Hey, you can see right after that fight, everyone from Rox recalls. And then everybody from BBQ, well, most of them, stay on the map, get more vision. Scuttle Crab down, clearing out some wards. Cho'Gath gets down to bottom first, is going to be pushing in that wave. So everything you've been saying is definitely on point. Let's see the replay here.
This is very assertive stuff from BBQ. Both Sungwon and Key have their ultimates, so you think, okay, why are they doing this? But they also have first teleport. Vladimir has Ignite, so he has to run in. The Weaver's wall is actually stopping Linderong and the Ghost, which is very funny to watch, behind the wall. But then he gets in the back line. Ignar's not there to put up that big unbreakable. Ghost flash down. He's dead. But like you say, there's no more of this from Rockstar. They all just back away and shop. They don't actually get any map control from a pick, so kind of been the story from BBQ. They've pushed until they've had to blown flashes defensively. They fought and lost a kill, but advanced their map position. Do need to turn something like a Baron on, though, and it's not necessarily the easiest to do, even if they have the extra secure from the Cho'Gath.
Taking a look at the items right now, control ward on everyone from BBQ, even though they have 1, 2, 3, 4 down right now. It looks like 5 on the one up and top side. So they've been really oppressive with pushing in the vision and making that map advantage work for them right now.
Ghost's early itemization, I think, is just more natural than Sangyun's because he gets to build a Blade of the Ruin King third. He's got a lot of value. With Sen Blade of the Ruin King, super MVPs against the comp that Rox is running. But
they're going
no
for
flash.
It. Ghost doesn't have his flash, and Galio comes in. This is what their composition is about. Ghost is just going to disappear. Linderong not even really there for doing most of the damage in that fight. So the easiest pick you'll ever see onto the 80 carry, and now Rox is thinking about Baron.
Yeah, it's going to take a while to finish the Baron. They don't have the most Baron damage, even if everyone can help. They start onto it. Cho'Gath is far away. They need to at least use the Weaver's Wall.
Linderong going all the way around. Looking for another flank.
Doesn't seem like the team you want to force it against, but they are so far. They're waiting for the turn. Still no turn. Now they're all caught in the pit. We could have everything happen here.
Yeah, here we go. The flash on in. There's Crazy, and it's going to go down to Xayah. Funnily enough, very close. Someone, though, getting low. Can they actually do any damage? Crazy not able to feast on that Baron, unfortunately, but will pick up 1 kill alone.
Yeah, I think Feast Smite was the attempt there. Feast was certainly used, I have to assume, on the Baron, but the Smite doesn't come through. Xayah, of all people, does confirm the Baron for Rox Tigers. That was a bad Baron call to finish, but they kind of had to when the Weaver's Wall was used. They were just taking up the damage. They felt like they needed to finish, and yet just a botched attempt at the steal from BBQ should have been better with a comp like this. Actually gives Rox their first meaningful lead of the game. We're going to watch the replay here. I think Rox over-damage it. They're still doing damage to it at 3,500. Then they're stuck in the pit, and you think, all right, Crazy and Trick will get it. Crazy gets over the wall, feasts. Oh, feasts early, thinks the smite will come in. They call for the feast smite. They don't get it. I'd just say the calculation was off by Crazy. He's doing what? 1,300 damage-ish with the feast, but not enough. Should have been better, I think, but that's what happens when you allow the game to go to a game 3. We get to this scenario where everyone feels rushed, everyone feels panicked. And BBQ give up the Baron, and suddenly Rox Tigers, they're 8 kills up, but they now actually have the gold lead to go with what was the skirmishing lead early in the game.
Yep, looking good now with the Baron. They're going to push in all this gold that's left over on the turrets that weren't picked off earlier, as I was saying. BBQ was ahead 3. Now Rox will quickly follow up. There's going to be 3 turrets taken out. And they're still pushing down the mid lane here. They're about 3,500 gold ahead.
I mean, you make the wrong engage on this comp, then you're going to lose an inhibitor. So they're being very tricky here. BBQ still have a lot of options. You'll notice they have 4 out of 5 flashes up.
Okay, they're going to go for the engage here onto the Xayah, who has to flash away, but gets knocked off the wall. Kind of a funny engagement there. They at least push Rox back. I thought perhaps she would get knocked off the wall back into the kidnap, but that wasn't the case.
Galio ult also available and used to decrease the damage, so nothing doing there. Sangyun still very, very healthy. And all this time, Linderong was like, cool stuff in mid lane. I'm going to take a second turret in the top side.
Doing his job. So we still have the engage available for the most part here. There's the Ornn engage. Trick, you can't really stand in the front against this much lockdown. And he will pay for it. He's going to go down even with the Warmogs and how tanky he is.
Lava's a monster. He has Void Staff and a 10 stack on his stacking item there. He's doing really, really well in terms of damage. He does a lot of damage by Sorcerer's Shoes as well. You can see he's 3,000 damage more than a traditional mage in the Talia. The Corrupting Potion paying off and then some. Probably not going to be a Magi's, but you start to wonder. Rox Tigers feeling really, really good about this scenario. And from nowhere, you know, from nowhere in the game, they were behind in a 35-minute game into, what, 45 minutes of the second game. Really does feel like a pickpocket of a win from BBQ.
Yeah, it definitely does. I'm looking at the Galio's score, 3-0-5. It looks a lot like the old school Galio in that scoreline. You can see here, Tricky just stands in the front. He gets knocked up by the Ornn.
Trick looks at the enemy champions and he's like, oh, Ornn, you know, Galio, Jarvan. There's no damage there. The Jarvan didn't build a second damage item, but Sangyun has 2.5 items, and this Galio is no joke. The AP ratios were buffed in the rework. He does not have basically any tankiness outside of his W resists. It would have burst down what looked like a very tanky Trick.
Yeah. 1Q on an Ignar, even with his shield, did take him down about 15% earlier on. That's when I first noticed, like, oh, wow. Even, you know, the Leandri's ticking as well. I'm like, oh, okay. This guy does some significant damage. And the thing about Galio that's always fun is that you can just push another wave in mid lane very fast, mind you, and then always be available to ult in with your heroic entrance.
Here we go. Speaking of ults.
There's the heroic entrance. It's going to get only one. Linderong is in the back. They're trying to close in. The Ornn ultimate is going to get Ghost here in the front. Trick just going down on the side. Didn't even see him. That's going to be 2 kills going down here for Rox Tigers.
Rox Tigers was so confident, ulting under turret because they know this comp so well. You thought it was comical. Vladimir, Jarvan, Galio in the first round. It was Ornn, sorry, instead of Jarvan. What does it mean? It means they have full understanding of the limits of the Galio. It's a different Galio, so credit to Lava playing both sides of the Galio build in the same series. They just bulldoze at every opportunity. And what did we say in Champion Select? Weird to see Taliyah and Varus selected against this draft. The Jarvan was locked in at that point. They had to know that this no escape carries were going to be preyed upon. They have done nothing. 0, 5, and 0. Sure, there's only a single kill in the game, but we have never really thought that Taliyah or the Varus were close to kills just because against this front line, given the fact you're not really orb walking, you're just trying to run away. You're like, crap, what can we do? Remember, he ults in with flashes up. You think that's fine, but there's nowhere to run when Vladimir is there as well.
Yeah. We talk about this hyper carry meta, and perhaps this is one of the ways you break right through it, just by going balls to the wall, head right through, all the engage you can stack on one lineup. And when you get guys like Varus, it doesn't matter if you have a massive front line of Cho'Gath, Zac, and Braum. It's like they're still going to get into your back line and get to your carries anyway.
I mean, my problem is that it didn't need to be Taliyah and Varus. It really didn't. They could have gone in so many other directions, and they self-counterpicked when the enemy they picked into the enemy's draft and gave them these opportunities. The Taliyah, it's against Galio. It's a free lane. You can basically farm with anything. You know, sort of lane that Veigar looks at and wishes he could be in. And I'm not suggesting Veigar here because they had super initiation. Yeah. It would have been the same problem. But there was many different ways that Tempt could go, and we praise him as an impressive player. But he just falls back too much on comfort after all his Malzahar games, and I've not been impressed with the Taliyah at all.
We got a double knock up here on the Songyun. It's going to matter is really the answer here. Someone going in, he gets beasts and taken out by Crazy. Linderong trying to get some damage of his own down onto Trick and Ignar. Does a bit of that, but look at this. Now finally they get some room, and here is where Ghost gets a chance to do some damage alongside Tempt. Perhaps going too deep that time was Rox.
Sungwon really likes ulting under turrets, what we've learned. 3rd time this game, he's 1 for 2, which is not that great. They spot the members of Rox. Rox are not done yet, they're still full health.
Yeah, but I mean, they're sticking around for a little bit too
separated.
Long. Okay, Linderong is gonna stopwatch here, still has his flash. He definitely has to use that. The question is, can they get out? Looks like they will for now. The knock up onto Songyun is not enough for them to go.
Minions in the bot lane, the super minions will get a little bit of damage on the inhibitor, so that will back away. BBQ would have loved a Baron against the run of play, but not going to happen, thanks to the Observer for showing this. Okay, game is extended. Weren't expecting that, but Rox Tigers need to take a deep breath. They're close to winning, and you can tell that Sungwon knows it, because like, yep, now. And everyone else like, whoa.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Like Songyun was kited out of doing damage for the entirety of, what, 3 minutes of 2 different skirmishes there. Rox turn onto Baron is spotted. Nice wards here from BBQ.
Lava, he did pick up a Medjais, by the way. He's got 10 stacks still from the Dark Seal earlier on.
What a beast.
I know, he's going for it. And, I mean, can't blame him if you don't die. Why not?
Nice turn off of the Baron. They see the TP coming in. Crazy's tanky.
Here comes someone again, and another flank from Linderong. They get onto Ghost, and this is what we're talking about. Both Ghost and Tempt, they have nowhere to go. If you pull off an engage like that, or any kind of flank or anything, they are going to die, and that should be the end of the game. Rock's too far ahead. They get the 2 carries, and now they're pushing to win.
There's nothing they can do about it, as we've said it so many times now. When they both flash at the same time, it's the ultimate go button. That's the ult they were looking for. Tanky members and Crazy with a bit of wave clear, but like you say, it's time to end.
So here we go, 5 on 3. 3 tanks, mind you, that don't really do any damage. They can kidnap. Songwon and Key are not super tanky, but it's going to be enough to push them out of the way. They're going for more kills, but in the end, this is going to be a win for the Rocks Tigers. They come back from behind and take 2 in a row with a very nice comp in Game 3.
Really big cheers here for the